So Martin, we're here now, it's mid-January 2024, and we're looking at the completed project here now in Ballykit in Mallow. So congratulations anyway on the finished project.
Thank you. It has been a great relief. It has done everything it said on the tin. It has really knocked a full labour unit out of our system and de-risked us.
Yes.
In that, with skilled labour so scarce now, to be able to operate a large volume with a labour unit less has been of fierce benefit.
Yeah. So I suppose, look, a brief overview of it here. What size rotary did you put in here?
It's a 60-point daily master, and we put everything we could on it. And that the idea was that that the milker, that one person could milk alone at times when we were initially planning it. But the project has been so successful that one milker is all you'd ever have on it when you're on the grass.
Okay.
Like springtime will be different now, but when say the month of April, even when there's breeding on, with the collars and the drafting facilities, and the fact that the collecting yard is designed so well that all the animals can be put into the collecting yard before milking.
Yes.
A milker can go to his station and do the full milking without leaving the station.
Okay. And I suppose, look, we're going to walk through the whole project again and get your view on, what has worked well day to day for you, and maybe what you would have learned from the project as well. But I suppose we're going to roll back now 2 years to summer 2021 when you actually started the construction. We have footage from that, I suppose, and we have footage as well, and we have spoken to the various contractors, I suppose, over the course of the project. So rather than do the walkthrough here now, we're going to roll back now to summer 2021 when we're here, when the site was being excavated. So we'll just roll back to when the site was being dug out and being prepared.
And pressure big time on ourselves in a 25-unit parlour.
Yeah, and I suppose you probably couldn't foresee maybe the whole benefits, but I'm sure there's massive relief now since. So we'll roll back now to that and we'll share the rest of that video from here on. Okay? So Martin, we've come here to Ballyclaw in North Cork to look at your project. I suppose we've been assisting you with the design and planning of this project. So in the backdrop here, I suppose it's a rotary that's going in here. And what size is it?
A 60-point daily master rotary.
Right.
You've been assisting us now since 2018 is when the plan was put in place, when the milk platform grew at that stage. And,
right.
And we were seriously outdated where we were.
Yeah.
And very cut for room.
Right. So I suppose it's like
very near making wrong decisions.
Right. Yeah. And I suppose it's like a lot of farms in the country. The farm has grown a lot in terms of cow numbers, has it here?
Yes. 470 went through for a period this summer.
Right. And they're currently being milked through what size of a parlour?
25 units.
Right. Yeah. So.
And it's not a double up.
Right. Yeah. So that's a busy parlour.
So we reckon we'll have about 8 to 9 man hours a day saved when this project is complete.
Right. So that's a big motivation for you to get this project done here at the parlour site.
It's a have to. That you want retain staff for way of life.
Right. Yeah.
It's 4 hours plus. For the morning milking is too long.
Yes, and cows standing around too long.
Yeah, it's affecting yield, big time.
Yeah. So it's effectively a building site here still anyway, and
a building site stroke quarry.
Yeah. So it's obviously it's a great sign of the land here too. There's underlying limestone here.
Yes, but after 5 weeks suffering on the borderline of drought,
yeah,
it has its negatives too. But,
yes.
But it's mostly positive, that we do get going reasonably early in the spring and reasonably late.
Yes.
And grasses or offer grass is what we want to do with all if we
right.
can.
Yeah. Okay.
And the cow to bring it herself.
Yeah. So in terms of, I suppose, the roadblocks as such was here, you had a lot of stone to move off site, you had a lot of rock breaking to do. Could you describe what height you've taken the site down from?
The site would be gone down, I suppose, up to 4 metres, I'd say, in parts of it.
Right.
There would have been all bare metre with rock for the vast majority of it.
Right.
And there was, say, where there's a couple of tanks had to go down further in.
Okay.
And we met very hard rock for those.
Right. Yeah. So it's all a rock breaker anyway, obviously inside.
All a rock breaker. Like, you know, we were very lucky that we had a local contractor able to do all that side of it.
Right. Yeah.
In that, it was Green Valley. In that's a 52-ton machine.
Right.
Like it's
a big unit.
It's a very big unit. Like, and the work required it.
Right. Yeah.
But in 2017 we met a lot of rock as well for the cow housing side of it in 18, and we were working with 20-ton machines that time.
Okay.
But there's no comparison with the output.
Right. Yeah.
This machine is after digging out what we'd been breaking down to get to.
Right.
There's horses for horses.
Right. So I suppose, look, what's unique about our visit here today, we want to try and get in earlier into the project to look at it, and before any machine is put in or before a collecting yard is put in. So what we might do is we'll have a walk and we'll just maybe have a look at the various levels inside and the preparatory work that's going on, and just for people to see before the project is completed.
Yeah, the roof has just been completed today.
Yeah.
That contractor has gone off a site now this evening.
Okay.
And that the concrete contractor now will be the next man to come in.
So what size shed is that there, Martin, that's up there now?
It's 100 foot wide and it's 6 bays long.
Right.
There's 20 feet of it, a lean-to at one side of it will be for calves.
Okay.
2 pins up on top for any cow that needs attention, or that, like, you know, feel it's important to have a loose straw area very near the parlour for if
tender cows or whatever.
If a cow is under the weather or anything, that you don't have to move your distance if she's got bend the legs or anything.
Yes. So your first stage calf, your early stage calves is what you're going to prioritise here beside
my early stage calves will be there, and that lean-to is at the cups off side of the rotary.
Yeah.
So like buckets of colostrum will be coming off the rotary at that side.
Okay.
So like it should make it very easy from a labour point of view.
Yeah, that's fine. So in terms of the shed, is it a Dwyer supplied the shed?
Or Dwyers, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And you went for fibre cement?
Fibre cement, cool in the hot summers, no condensation.
Okay.
Like you've no drop off. Like, I just feel it's a product that will do the turn. Like it has the advantage of the coolness and no drop down. Like they're the two things, and I think the lifespan will be longer as well. You have more timber purl lines as well because of the weight of the roof.
Yes.
Like, which gives you a better structure as well. Like.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll walk down here and have a look. So Martin, on the right over here, there's a tank in place. What's that for?
There's 2 tanks, and it's because we will not be able to supply enough water from the well fast enough for the heat exchanger or plate cooler.
Right.
So the idea here is that there's a tank here with the most of it buried underground. It's a 12-foot deep tank, but rather than having to be down a manhole and stooping to do ball cork, I decided that we'd put 8 feet of it underground.
Yeah.
And that would bring it up to a comfortable working height for fitting a ball cock, or if there was any trouble with a ball cock or a fitting down the road.
Yes.
Rather than the danger of overhanging in a manhole into what could be a very dangerous drowning situation, or even if it's empty, it's a fall, it's a risk.
Right.
So, like that was the reason for bringing it overground.
Okay.
That it'll de-risk and make it easier to work on.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that the water will retain its temperature. The fact that most will be buried in the ground, and it will be sheltered for a lot of the day too at the side of the building.
Right.
But it'll mean that I'll have 8 or 9,000 gallons of water will be in this section.
Right.
Which will have a dedicated pump to pump it through the heat exchanger or plate cooler.
Right.
And it'll be returned to the next section then. I think there's about 4,500 gallons capacity at this side of it.
Right.
And our second use then will be that we'll have the high volume washer for washing the turntable or the clusters or any internal washing. We'll get a third use out of that then, and that we have Kylie's in Quartbrack has supplied us with a precast tank, 2,700 gallons I think. That is over here under It'll be alongside where the milk cups and platform will be.
So what's that going to do for you, this tank?
We'll have another pump in that in,
Yeah.
and we'll recycle that water to wash the collecting yard.
Okay. With a hose.
We'll just have a couple floor pines that will do it without manually doing
From fixed positions.
In that we're fitting a 50-foot backing gate, the master are, and there'll be a scraper on that. But when you get fine weather, that can get very grazy if it's just a scrope yard. So I'm hoping by pumping 2,000 gallons plus of this slightly soiled water over it, that it'll wash it and keep it from being slippy.
Right. Yeah.
That's the plan anyway.
Yeah. Fair enough. So both of those tanks then, are they going to be submersibles, taking the water out of that, or how are you going to?
That's undecided. I have to research. I have to research on that. I would think submersibles,
right?
But undecided yet. Like I have to research that.
Yeah, yeah. So you'll have a new water room as such in the plant room or wherever. You'll have a new water room to control all the water in the farm, will you?
Yeah, there'll be a dedicated down at that section there now, beyond the teleporter. There'll be a dedicated chemical room and water room there.
Yeah.
And that there'll also be a few reserve tanks there. We'll be holding about 1,000 litres of soft pump water. It'll be gone through a softener, like the softener will be housed there as well.
Yeah.
And that water then in turn will have a submersible pump that will pump it through the heater to supply the hot water for the wash plant when required.
Right, okay.
And it'll mean that before the milking we'll have 1,000 litres of water on hand there at any stage which should be adequate for doing any washing. Like.
Right, okay. What levels are we looking at there, Martin?
Ground zero is the level of the top of the slat, and this point here is the operator's platform level.
Right.
Feet level, we'll say. When it's not adjustable, when it's level with the concrete around the platform, like it's going to be an adjustable, but that's going to be the level. But the operator will be at the opposite side now.
Yeah.
Like finished concrete level here is going to be, well, in this section it's going to be brought. This is the level of the
cows will be standing at that.
The rotary inside, the level that the cows will be standing on the rotary is actually going to be at this level.
Yeah.
So the level actually in these two bays here, because we'll have the vet platform dropping from somewhere behind you there, Bertie, we'll be bringing trunking all this level back up to here, and this house here that's going to be for an animal in trouble will have to be somewhere near this mark as well.
And roughly then, Martin, as the contrast, say from operator level, how deep is the inside of the rotary going to be roughly from that point, do you think?
I think it's going to be 3 feet down again.
Yeah.
The internal of the rotary.
Right.
It's deeper than what it used to be. I think for health and safety reasons, to leave clearance between the milk pumps, that they have to drop the floor level.
Yes.
And that it created an issue here for the drainage of the centre of the rotary. That's why we're slightly higher here now. We were going for a fall of 1 in 100. Whereas I think we're gone 50% or more of a fall now in the collect yard, which allowed us to bring the platform and bridge up to that level.
Okay.
And that was like the lowest point of the rotary. Well, is the underpass actually, but
yeah.
you don't have bad accidents. You have no liquid to deal with there.
Yeah.
Particularly when it's going to be totally enclosed. That's one of the reasons I went for the stairs going in over here, what will be fully enclosed. In that a lot of them I see that were over here by the collect yard, where there was an open collect yard, were very messy. With the water coming in from the collect yard, or you would also have even washing the collect yard, you could have mishaps and water coming in.
Yeah.
And I'd be hoping by sighting it all in a clean area over here that will stay clean. So my lowest technical dirty point is the centre of the rotary. The shoulder would be around the gland.
Yeah. But you have a tank. You think it's low enough to take that out by gravity without use of a pump? You're hoping.
One of the lower cow house tanks.
Yeah.
I'm going to plumb it down to that.
That'd be great.
And that's the reason why everything was brought up a small bit to allow that.
Yeah.
In that I prefer to avoid the electric pumps and that. In that you could have a malfunction with a pump, and you have a very messy job then.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a natural pipe, there's a better chance of it staying clean. And you're not talking about big volumes in there. You just have the drain off the pumps after milking, and if you're doing a washing in there.
Just looking at the apex here, Martin, what's the plan here with the gaps? Is it going to be all closed in, or are you going to put skylights up there? Or?
I can no, the opening here on top.
Yeah.
I vented. It's how, like a lot of things at the moment, availability. There's going to be a time lapse of 5 to 6 weeks, I think, before they come available.
Okay.
But they're vents.
Right. So this pole here that's hanging in, what's the purpose of that in time?
It's where the centre gland will be on the rotary. Will be a high volume hose that you can pull the whole way around just outside the cow standing area. And that water will come through there. And I think the teat dip spray, I think, is fed through that as well.
Okay.
But it's going to be directly over where the main gland will be.
It's good and strong, and it's obviously going to be able to support a lot underneath it.
Well, Dwyer's engineer and Dairy Master have been working hand in hand for location and for what the requirements are.
Yeah.
I wouldn't personally know anything about it.
I know.
It is.
You're just paying for it.
Pardon?
You're just paying for it, and hopefully reap the benefits.
Well, there are both firms that are at it a long time and have been working. They seem to have a good relationship together anyway, the engineers.
Yes. So looking now to the collecting yard here, so Martin, it's obviously, there's a bit of height to be taken off it yet, you were saying, is there?
Yes, we have some to add here and we have some to take off above.
Yeah.
We probably took off more than what we had today, but for simplicity, we put on all the bases level. Yeah. And we left the wires be doing the falls in the shed. The shed is a little bit different than normal in that our existing cow shed is actually rising 2 to 2.5 inches every bay.
Right.
Rising as you go up this way, and that was initially because the first 11 bays it was done to suit the yard, so we had to keep going that way.
Yeah.
So with this shed now, it's designed to be mirroring. It's parallel to that one, in that the canopies, when you look at it from a distance, they'll both look the same.
Right.
It's due to that shed rising. That's why that shed is rising so much.
Okay. So the collecting yard here, is it falling? It's falling backwards to the.
Falling backwards. It will be to a double tank.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, 2 single tanks. In that we changed the plan there as well, due to the changing from the department, like what looks like to be that you'd have to store your parlour washings for longer periods.
Yeah.
I decided instead of having a bridge at either end of the double tank, we made it 2 single tanks.
Right. Independent of each other? Or?
Independent of each other. Yeah. Just to kind of safeguard us down the road. That if there was a change, that if the collecting yard, if they deemed that to be slurry, that we'd have the fall-off section to dedicate just parlour washings and so on.
Yes.
And that was the reasoning for that change.
Yes.
The yard itself is it's supposed to have the capacity of 600 cows.
Okay.
And 550 is what will be here.
Okay.
But the reason for oversize it, just future-proof it, and the view here is that for quiet times of the year or weekends, that we'd make this that one operator could manage, and it would simplify things very much. That when the cows are brought in, that they can be locked in before the operator goes milking.
Yes.
Which means that the operator should not have to leave the cups on area until the last cow's milked.
Right. Yeah.
In that with the backing gate and everything.
Yeah. There'd be no restriction.
There'd be no restriction, and that's what I see in the past when you do the yard. There would, like, it technically should take X amount of cows, but to get the cows to squeeze up, you know,
It takes time.
it takes time, and especially when you're dealing with a large number,
Yes.
you might get there might be space up in front, but you could be crowding or squeezing the cows behind
Yes.
to get the gates closed.
So is the plan to have a wall either side of the collecting yard, or
A wall at either side for safety again, that if I put a railing there, a cow could put a head out, and with the backing gate coming up, there'd be a risk factor.
Yes.
And all this area is staying, like we're planning to cover the whole lot of it, but
Initially it won't be.
but it'll be kicked down the road because funding.
Yeah. With the cost of steel and everything.
The shed behind us is after costing 30% more than initially planned.
Yes.
So it's not like we're de-risking the thing by leaving this out of the jigsaw for the moment.
Yeah.
And
It's all set up for
it
it.
at a later stage. Like.
Yeah. So let's walk back to the back of the collecting yard just before we finish. So to some extent you're lucky the cows exit the shed at the back to come in as well there, and your paddock system, they're all coming to one point as such nearly, aren't they?
Yes, I was very anxious to have an open slatted area where the cows are coming in and out, and that every phase of that last building where the cows are coming in and out, and that the cows go down through the head feed, the parlours at the end of that cow building here, and every phase before this we had no tank at the back of it, and just where the cows come into the building we always found was the dirtiest area, it was the hardest area always to keep clean.
Yeah.
So we're very hopeful now that by having the slatted tank there, that it'll be self-cleaning. We've a third of our paddocks are after that direction, and the other 2/3 they'll be coming in at the other end, and in the winter time it'll be get them out of the house, and it gives us extra room. Plus the other point, small stones were a bit of a problem coming from just outside the building onto the easy feed, the scraper channel, where we used to find small stones. They would be carried down along, and the cow to stand on the small stone on concrete. There was no forgiveness.
Yeah.
Whereas by having that slatted area there,
they lose some of it.
There'd be a strong chance that small stones would be would be removed and lost before they get onto the solid area.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was the thinking why the tank is outside the cow building as well, even though the fall is the opposite way.
Yes. So as we look back here, Martin, so for the next month, what are the key objectives, or what's going to be happening here? What's the most critical things you see happen next?
The next contractor now to come in is the concrete. Brian Quinn, Michael Crimmen, as you see, is leaving.
Yeah.
He's completed the roof.
So he put up the shed, is that right?
He put up the shed for the wires.
Yeah.
But we've purposely left the gables off to leave a good access for concrete trucks and for equipment for digging out and whatnot in the building. His next task will be to the electrical room at the other side.
Get that in first.
We'll possibly want him back very early to make that a dry room. To put up the gable that will be outside, that will be his next part of the project.
Right. And why prioritise that? Is it just to get power to the site, or is it to get the ESP connection, or what?
To get the electrical contractor to be ready for the area master. The area master will be back. Will be our planning for fitting this in 7 weeks' time.
Yeah.
And we need to have the power in place.
Okay.
At that stage, but you'll get bad weather at any stage, and that's a very large open area.
Right.
So for any electrical equipment to get damaged.
Okay.
So that will be the priority to get that sealed down fast, so the electrical contractor will be able to work.
Right. And so it's obviously to get the concrete in and get the area master in, so that they can get going on the plinth and their fixtures.
The area master, the concrete work will probably be totally finished before the area master will enter.
Okay, yeah.
Anything that's inside will have to be finished anyway.
Fine. In some ways you've the hardest of it done, because I suppose you'd a lot to contend with the site, with all the stone that a lot of people wouldn't have to contend with.
This plan is in motion since this time in 18.
Yeah.
And that I'd say I initially met with you. I'd say in July of 2018, after acquiring an adjacent piece of ground, which is only it's the nearest field to the collecting yard now.
Yeah.
And I had just completed a 300 cubicle shed.
Yeah.
And had to contend with a lot of rock.
Yes.
And I thought I'd never again go at rock. And I was going to build the Rotary out here at the gable end of the cow house.
Yeah.
And thankfully, due to your intervention,
I think John O'Callaghan was involved in it as well. I think.
John, you sent John to drop a couple of plans, and sure there was only one plan, and it was where you initially pointed out it should be.
Yeah.
Where we're gone now, yes, it was a lot of site work, but it is actually the best site for it.
Yeah, yeah. And sure, look, you take it dry land before wetland any day. Like it's a negative having to deal with digging it, but it's obviously the basis of a very good block of land as well.
Well,
it gives you options.
I was very fortunate, like that, like Judd Leary being local and having very good heavy equipment,
and horsepower and scale.
It made a big task easier.
Yeah, had the scale to deal with it and the equipment.
In that even since our dealing with in 17 and 18, like the equipment.
Yeah, moved on at a huge level.
It is 4 times the capacity of that time.
Yeah, oh, very good. So look, we look forward to coming back again, Martin, at some point, maybe in the next few weeks again.
I hope it'll only be a few weeks.
We'll follow the story with interest.